Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So today I thought I would start thinking about Valentine cards because it's just around the corner. So I've got a couple of stamp sets and dies out. I have the Adoring Hearts stamps plus the hybrid dies that come with it. So let me just find the, what did I do with the embossing folder? I just used it. Anyway, it comes with an embossing folder that corresponds to these dies, and I've already gone ahead and I've embossed, let me zoom you in because these are kind of tiny, but I've embossed these beautiful little hearts in vellum. So I think you can see those, they're very pretty. Okay, and then I've gone ahead and I've used the dies to cut those out. And I also cut out some of the same hearts, but without the embossing, and this time in Berry Burst. So I've got those ready to go. I've got a pack of the basic white note cards, and I've also got another stamp set called Lifetime of Love. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this one or not, but it's got some very pretty dies. So you can see here that you can cut out some windows in your cards, and I quite like this circular one. I want to show you that. So you see you can cut out a circle aperture in your card with this beautiful leafy design, and so that I thought was very nice. And then the same thing with this one that's sort of an arc shape, and then you get a lot of very pretty foliage as well. So that's a possibility. This is really a wedding set, but it can be used for Valentine's as well because it's got Forever and Always, which I liked, and the Love You. The Adoring Hearts has To My Valentine, and it also has this nice Celebrating You, which would be nice for another occasion other than Valentine's. So lots of good things here. I'm just checking my settings. I want to make sure that you can all see and hear me. And that looks fine. Okay, so I'm just having a play here. I haven't used any of these things before. I've only just opened them up, so we're going to be exploring the possibilities together. And I'm not sure. Let's see if this is the note card size, and I just want to see if this die will fit on there. Oh, and it will. I might do that. So I'm going to get my stamping cut and emboss machine back out again, and I'm just going to cut an aperture in my note card, but also I think in another piece of cardstock as well. So let's see how this works. That looks pretty good. I'm going to run that through. it. Oh, look how pretty. Okay. I see. So I didn't, this is the linear part of this die cut was so very fine. I didn't even realize that it cut out this additional shape. So that's beautiful. Let's, all right, I have a piece of fresh freesia card. Actually, no, I'm gonna go with the very first for this actually. So let me get a little piece ready. I'm just gonna cut that down to size. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to do this twice. I love these super fine dies. They're just gorgeous. All right, let's do that again. Just using my piercing tool to push those little leaves out. There we go. Okay, now let's see what we've got. Does anybody else have this set? Have you been using it? If you have examples of cards that you've made using this bundle, the Adoring, well, either one, the Adoring Hearts or the Lifetime of Love, please go ahead and post them in the Dandelion Paper Pals so we can see what you're doing with them. We all learn from one another, and that's one of the great benefits of being part of the group. And if you're somebody who's been watching and you are not a part of the Dandelion Paper Pals, you're welcome to join us. It's a private Facebook group, and that's where you can share what you've been working on. So I'm just going to bring you in a little bit here. I want to see something. That's really pretty. All right, let's try another idea. So I've got some vellum here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that down to size. So let's see, what do we have here? This is a 3.5 by 5. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this just a 1/16 of an inch smaller. So there's my 5 and my 3.5. Let's make sure I did that correctly. And that looks fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my liquid glue, and I'm just going to, if I can get my glue to work. It's a little bit cold in here today. I haven't had a chance to start the fire yet. Just going to put a thin line like so. Mount that on the inside cover of my card or card front. Now the vellum, as you know, takes a little longer to dry because it's not as porous as the paper, but there we go. Give that a good burnishing. Okay, so now we've got this beautiful window on the front of the card, and it's kind of translucent, so we can see behind there a little bit. And then I'm going to need my silicone mat for this. So the silicone mat is useful when you're applying glue to these very fine dies and you don't want to make a mess. And I'm just very lightly dotting the leaves. And intersections. A little bit here. Okay. I have a paper towel here. I'm just going to gently remove some of that excess. Now I'm going to inlay make sure I get all those leaves into those areas. That looks good. All right, so now look, I don't know if you can see how beautiful that is, but this is all beautifully flush now. The berry burst is inlaid into the card front, so it's perfectly even, and we have this gorgeous little translucent window here. So that's my card base, and I'm very happy with that. If you're interested in the bundles that I'm using today, I will be posting them here on my Facebook page. There'll be a supply list, and you'll be able to access that and have the complete list of all the supplies that I'm using. And don't forget that we are now celebrating Celebration, and that means that for every $50 that you spend on fine paper crafting supplies from Stampin' Up, you're going to be able to select an additional free stamp set, papers, ribbons, these beautiful Valentine papers here. I could have used those today too. All of these things are available for free. This one's available with a $100 order. I love this one. It's called Detailed Dogwood, and I'm going to be using that one coming up. So, and I think you can see how pretty it looks when you paint it. So lots of goodies in here. We have the brand new catalog. All of these things that I'm using are in the new mini catalog, so you can find them there. And if you get really inspired and decide that you want to join the Dandelion Cottage design team, you can even get that glass mat studio, which I showed you yesterday. So if you weren't here yesterday or you don't know what I'm talking about, go back one video and take a look at that glass mat studio. It's really very, very nice. And it's in my top 10 watercolor supply video, so check that out. Okay, so now we get to embellish a little bit. We need to have a sentiment. So I'm going to choose one of these. Let's see. That looks nice. You are most loved. Let's make sure it's a good size. Where is it? This one. Now I just want to check. Just about fits on there. Just about. It might be just a little bit too big. I'm wondering if maybe this one may be better. It's a little too close. So let's do Forever and Always. This is from the Lifetime of Love. I'm going to get a slightly smaller block. Get that lined up. All right, and I wanted to use a pinkish ink, but I didn't want to be too light. So I'm just grabbing my Moody Mauve. I think this will work nicely. Go ahead and do a test stamp here. Make sure that that's stamping well. Sometimes there's a little bit of residue on your new stamps and you want to give them a little test before you use them on your project. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to put that right in the middle. Let that dry. So there it is. And it looks like I could put a little something down below here. And oh, there's a really pretty leaf here. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So I have these scraps left over from the previous die cutting I did. Let me do a little cleanup here. This is getting a little messy. Okay, I like that. I can't see what I'm doing here. Let me hold it from this side. All right. Perfect. Okay, so you can just about make that out through there. Now let's do a little bit of embellishment on our card. We have these beautiful hearts. Let's see if we can flatten this down a little bit better. Okay, so we've got so many to choose from here. I'm just going to make a little selection. So because we've got the leaves as our card base, I'm going to pick out the ones that have leaves on. Actually, almost all of them have leaves on them. Okay, alrighty. I really like that one. That one. Let's start with 3 and see what that does for us. Those two look the same. Okay. So again, I'm going to just take some drops of my glue and I'm actually placing them inside the leaf pattern. And then I'm just going to sandwich those together. Give that a little press. You remember that the glue dries clear, so that's fine. Keep going. These are really so pretty. Isn't it funny, but there are certain shapes to hearts that I like better than others, and I like these kind of rounded ones better than the long elongated ones. I really like this heart shape. They're very pretty, and I like that you can emboss them and die cut them out. I don't know if I mentioned, but the other really nice thing about this hybrid bundle is that it's all in one die. So the embossing folder and the die is just one single piece, and then you can cut out, I think it's 9 different hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, looks like 9 different hearts. And you can either use what's left over, and let me show you that. So you can see this is what the die looks like, and this is what the embossing folder looks like. It has all these little background hearts as well. And you could use this somehow, maybe as a box top. Maybe you could take your hearts and have them popped up on dimensionals. So I don't know. We'll have to see what we can do with that. It would also make a very nice stencil if you wanted to just have a little heart background. Alright, so there are my 3 little hearts. I could also use these extra leaves here if need be, and I may. So why don't we just cut those apart. We'll have these ready to go just in case. Some extra leaves. And for the next thing, I'm going to need my Stampin' Dimensionals. just want to have a few of these hearts kind of scattered around. Maybe something like that. Go ahead. There, and then I'll have one of these glued down. This one. And then let's see. Trying to figure out where the best place to put the dimensionals is. All right, well, I'm just going to put that right there. All right, so there's that. And finally, I do want to add a little bit more of this foliage just in the corners. And this little one. Okay, all right, well, I think that will be the card for today. I may add a couple of, a little bit of sparkly dots to it. We'll see what I have in my stash. But there it is. So you can see the forever and always through the window. These lovely little vellum hearts are really so sweet. I love the way this die creates this inlay effect in the aperture. And then we just added this little flourish on the inside to embellish it a little bit more. So that is my first Valentine card of the season. I hope that gave you some ideas. Again, I'd love to see what you do. Please be sure to check out the Dandelion Paper Pals. The way you do that is just put a comment below, say hi, tell me where you're from with your name so I can recognize your name, and then do a search on Facebook for Dandelion Paper Pals and ask to be invited in, and I will let you in. And that, again, is the place where you can share all of your all of the projects that you make inspired by what you see here. Don't forget about celebration. There's also a joining link here on my Facebook page. It has the information about how to get that amazing glass mat studio, which I think is so nice. And if you have any questions at all, just give me a message or an email, and I'll be happy to walk you through that. So stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.